Joined today by Dr. John Hanley. He's a political science expert at UCF. John, always good to see you. Appreciate you being here today.
Good to see you, John.
Okay, this did not turn out well. Let's just start with this. It was supposed to start a half an hour ago. Twitter crashed. Now these guys are getting trashed on Twitter. What are your thoughts about doing it this way in the first place?
It's a bit strange in the final analysis. They had a typical rollout in his hometown. For whatever reason, they decided to scrap it. They went with this, and I think that's going to send a message to people who are watching this campaign. It indicates that, you know, maybe they're not ready for prime time.
And I know it's a Twitter issue, but already DeSantis is getting hit with, come on, you guys can't even run Twitter. How are you going to run the country? So you knew that was going to come, and you said Donald Trump will probably have a heyday with this one, too.
I think he will. There is perhaps a silver lining in this for DeSantis, which is that his expectations have been set sky high, and this gives him possibly a chance to reset, to allow himself to develop a little momentum. There's no voting for another 8 months, and so there's plenty of time for him to come back from this, and he has lots of money.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of criticism of Ron DeSantis here in Florida because he doesn't do a lot of press conferences, so he doesn't have to answer to reporters. But my question is, do you even have to anymore as a politician when you can control your own narrative on a Twitter, on Facebook, or however it might be? Is that a big issue?
I think we're moving away from press conferences and media. It's not just DeSantis. We saw it with Trump. We see it with Joe Biden. He's not doing a lot of broad press availability. Instead, you're able to use social media to slice up the electorate and communicate in the way that you want.
All right, let's talk about competition and a little history here as well. You have people like Herman Cain, Rudy Giuliani, Howard Dean, Mitt Romney, even Jesse Jackson. I bring up those names because they were all front runners at this point in the campaigns. They didn't win. Sometimes people forget that they even ran in the first place. Are we putting too much into this early on?
I think we might be. Expectations are very important when we look at a primary campaign because we don't have party really to go with, right? Everyone's a Republican in this Republican primary, and the differences between them are more subtle. I think it's going to be difficult to run against a former president of your political party. We haven't seen someone try to do that in 100 years. I think, however, for DeSantis, you know, he is in some ways, you know, has been cursed by the high expectations that have been set for him, and there is that long list of candidates who have failed from that position of a lot of anticipation.
So let's talk about some of the other Republicans. You just saw the screen there of some of the bigger names that are in it right now. Are there any of the confirmed Republicans in the race that stand out to you as a competition to Trump and DeSantis at this point?
Right now, I think, you know, looking past Trump and DeSantis, they're, you know, the ones that are in there are interesting. Tim Scott is, you know, very interesting, well-liked senator from South Carolina. You never hear anything said bad about Tim Scott. Asa Hutchinson, well-spoken governor of Arkansas, and Nikki Haley, who has experience from the Trump administration and presents a different face for the Republicans as someone of immigrant background and as a woman. So I think that, you know, if you want to look beyond those two, there's a lot interesting so far, and we might see others join into the race.
All right, one last question for you here. I've already heard that President Joe Biden put out a Twitter link saying, hey, if you want to watch it here, it's actually a campaign site to raise money for him, right? Do people forget about this? Does this become just a part of history, or is it a big deal in the long run that it didn't launch on Twitter like it should have?
I think from the perspective of the voters, a lot of voters aren't watching this yet. From the perspective of political professionals or people who are going to endorse in this race, it's different. They're following this much more closely, and so they're looking at the quality of the product from the very beginning. I think that is potentially the danger for DeSantis going forward from tonight.
And there's a long ways to go. Once again, Dr. John Hanley from UCF. Always great to see you. Thanks for making time for us today. I know it's almost summertime for you guys over at UCF, so we'll talk to you soon, okay?